Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing great. So, I'm guessing most of you already know Tom Lee. He's one of those names that always pops up on CNBC. And whenever he talks, his interviews go viral. And in his latest appearance, he dropped two really interesting ideas. First, that Nvidia is still one of the strongest stories in the market. And second, that financials like JP Morgan might actually be an even better trade than Nvidia. Sounds bold, right? Let's break it down. Quick refresher if you are not super familiar with him. Tom Lee is the co-founder and head of research at Funstrat Global Advisors, an independent research firm in New York. Before that, he was chief equity strategist at JP Morgan. What makes him stand out is that he's not afraid to go against the crowd. He makes bold, contrarian calls, and honestly, that's why CNBC keeps bringing him back, and why people share his takes all over social media. Alright, let's start with Nvidia. Here's the clip.
I know investors are really anxious, and Nvidia has not performed well the last few times it's reported. But the story arc there remains that that is one of the most important companies in the world in the middle of the biggest structural change in the world economy. So,
Pretty strong statement, right? He even admitted that Nvidia sometimes struggles right after earnings. But listen to this part.
so I think Nvidia still is a great story. It really wouldn't change our thesis if the stock reacted poorly.
You feel like
In plain English, Nvidia might be a little bumpy in the short term, but long term, it's still a powerhouse. It's basically the engine behind AI, and that makes it one of the key players driving the global economy right now. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Tom Lee also said this.
I think there's a bigger upside in the owning financials right now. Because financials are benefiting from AI.
Okay.
So they're the second order beneficiaries. Plus, they're getting the green light to build on the blockchain, which could really make JP Morgan and Goldman's business models so much more profitable and change their multiples, expand them. So I think, yes, I'm still bullish on AI, but I actually think the financials are really one of the legs that drive us the next 12 to 24 months.
Oh, interesting.
So, why would he say that? Well, his argument is that banks are what he calls second order beneficiaries of AI. In other words, they are not making the chips like Nvidia does, but they are going to benefit from AI in other ways. Better efficiency, smarter data use, faster decision making. And on top of that, banks are finally getting the green light to use blockchain in ways that could totally reshape their business models. Think about what that could mean for giants like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Much higher profits down the line. Now, here's his boldest claim. These banks could actually deserve tech-like multiples. Normally, Wall Street values banks at, say, 10 to 15 times earnings. Meanwhile, tech companies often trade at 25, 30, or even higher. So if banks start getting closer to those tech valuations, their stock prices could climb a lot, even if their earnings don't grow that much. Of course, not everybody is buying this idea. Some analysts point out risks: a slow, long growth, higher defaults, tighter regulations. Others say Nvidia and big tech are still the safer bets. And honestly, that's classic Tom Lee. He's bullish when most people are skeptical. Sometimes he nails it, sometimes not. But either way, he gets people thinking. So, what do you think? Do you agree with Tom Lee that banks like JP Morgan could start trading more like tech stocks? Or do you still believe Nvidia is the best play for the next few years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love to hear what you guys think. Here's my personal take. Nvidia is still one of the most important companies in the world. No doubt about it. But I actually think Tom Lee has a point. Financials could really surprise people. Banks like JP Morgan are already super solid. Strong dividends, dominant in payments, credit cards, and wealth management. And if the market starts valuing them like tech, that's a lot of upside. So, to wrap it all up, Tom Lee believes Nvidia is still a great story, but banks like JP Morgan might actually be the trade to watch over the next 12 to 24 months. Whether you agree with him or not, it's a fascinating thesis. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and stick around for the next one. Thanks for watching, and I catch you soon.